Hey, thanks for checking out this clip from the After Files. We're live almost every Thursday night directly after the episode premieres. So thanks for checking this out and hope to see you live next week.
Tell me something I don't know. Where's Gino? Oh shit, where he go? Tell me something I don't know. Where's Gino? Oh shit, where he go?
I forgot to read the super chat though. Spiral Mind, we watch on Patreon and Google. Enjoy both versions. We like your ads. Yahtzee, say no more, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, it's another Patreon perk. As little as $3 a month, by the way. There are no ads and no AdSense from YouTube, and none of our Gertie ads are in there. But there is a playlist of all our ads on the channel.
There is.
If you just want to sit and watch the commercials, I think they're entertaining. I think they're better than the episodes, but Gino, are you driving your own media again?
Yeah. That's how I messed up earlier. I thought I had it all planned out and I had it ready to go. I uploaded 2 different things that I got 2 computers going here. One over here, one over here. I thought I had it all ready to go. I tried to switch around some of my slides right when we started. Didn't turn out well for me.
What I like is Gino's not very emotive. Is that fair to say, Jennifer?
Yes.
So when he was first, he screwed up and he put the thing up there, and then he panicked, and then instead of pulling it down, it was just changing to different screens, and then he finally got it figured out with me just blinking at the camera, and then I see him down there just doing this.
Yeah, I'll learn how to work this thing sooner or later.
Oh, I'm still figuring it out.
Well, we got a pretty interesting story tonight.
Yay!
You know, most of my stories come from either talking to people on Discord or finding weird stories on the internet. But this one's a Y-Files insider story. I heard this one from none other than Jen herself.
Which I'm going to let you drive the slides. Is this the right one to put up for now?
No, let me go back here.
Of course, there's a commercial. Of course there is.
Well, our story tonight is brought to you by CavemanCoffeeCo.com. You could use the promo code Y-Files and get yourself some Java 51, the best blend that's out in the universe. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about the gnomes of Wallington Park. So there's been gnome sightings all over the world, and even a lot of gnome sightings in this specific park, but it happened in Nottingham, England. We're going to talk about one specific sighting that happened. So I know most of the audience probably hasn't heard of Wallington Park, but they've certainly seen it. The hall on the grounds was used as Batman's house, Wayne Manor, in the Dark Knight Rising. Let's see if I could move my slides along here. So there it is. That's was Wayne Manor. There we go. Got Alfred there. However, the sighting happened on the grounds of the park, which is huge. There's over 500 acres of gardens and shrubbery. There's been multiple sightings in the park, but the most documented one happened on September 23rd, 1979. So let me take you back. It was crisp fall night in 1979. We had 6 or 7 school kids between the ages of 8 and 10. They were playing in the park, and since it was getting towards 8 o'clock, the park was going to close. So it was time for these kids to skedaddle back home to their parents before they get pissed off. I guess, you know, the 70s is a different time. You could have 8-year-olds out there alone in a 500-acre park with no supervision, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. So these kids are out mucking about in the park, and they're on their way out of the park. And so this is an overview of the park. So they're on their way out of the park, and they're passing this area that the arrow is pointing to. So they are that's they called that part of the park the swamps. They noticed some movement in the trees, and at first they thought there was like a woman rustling around out there, but the closer they look, they see there's a little guy, and he was about half their size, and these are kids, so that's pretty tiny. They were wearing very stylish clothes and a hat. They had on like some hippie like pants with yellow patches on them, slim fitting blue shirt, slim fit cut. And they were like typical gnomes, what you would imagine. They had long white beards with a red tip on their beard. And they were wearing those long gnome type caps, like they called them naughty caps, like what you'd wear to sleep in old timey days. So it has it's like a cone shape. So they're looking for where this little guy went, and they hear a bell ring, which is typically associated with gnomes and bells and gnomes. So they hear this bell ring, ding, and one of these little guys pops his face out of the hole in the fence, and he made what they described as an odd little jiggling gesture towards them. I'm not going to speculate on what that means, but it seemed pretty innocent to the kids at the time. So let me move on. So this is an eyewitness drawing of what they saw.
We got a mic coming for Gino.
Sorry, I got the mic from the ear pods. Now
look, I don't want you to get nervous, but the chat, every time you say they're taking a drink.
Why are you saying that to him?
Please, I'm trying to help everyone get drunk here, so sorry. That's just the way it goes. So after that first little guy popped out, he quickly disappeared back into the woods. So they were trying to look where he got off to, but they could see that there was a bunch of these guys up in the trees looking down at him and laughing at him. So, they're just up in the trees giggling. So they were speaking a language to each other, but they didn't know what they were speaking. It wasn't English, so they couldn't understand. They just knew that these little bearded guys are laughing at him. So there's a whole bunch of kids there watching this, and half the kids get scared at seeing this, and they start running towards the park entrance. But since they were laughing and they seemed pretty jovial, the other half of the kids became more interested and decided, we're going to hop this fence and follow them and see where these little guys went. This is where things get a little bit crazy.
We're not there yet?
No.
So they climb the fence, they go through the trees, they're looking for these guys, and all of a sudden from out of the trees comes about 60 of these little guys. A whole bunch, but they're not walking anymore. They got cars.
What?
They got little cars. They're sitting 2 guys in each car, and they describe the cars as looking like brightly colored bubbles with triangle lights. And they were noiseless. They had no visible means of propulsion. And they weren't really touching the ground exactly. They were able to navigate over logs and things like that. Let me see. I think we have another eyewitness slide there. So this is what the car sort of looked like. I guess I got to fix my slides. It's a little cut off. There are some wheels at the bottom there, but they were jumping over trees and logs and things like that.
Gnomes are known for being very spry and sprightly. Everybody knows that.
No, besides the cars being noiseless, they had a lever that they used to steer, that they were using to steer with, and they kind of like leaned over left and right when they wanted the cars to move. And the cars, they were going as fast as
Eyewitness Vehicles on shrooms.
Oh my God.
I think I've seen gnomes. I've heard that and seen, like, are shrooms the gateway to the gnome world?
Well, absolutely, it's very possible. I mean, these could be interdimensional beings.
Little gnome Trixie.
I mean, it's interesting because you'll see as further we get into the story here that they're kind of limited to where they're able to go. So so again, could be interdimensional. Not sure. So besides the cars being noiseless, they had like that lever that I was telling you about, not a steering wheel really. And they said the cars were going as fast as regular cars. One of the kids even said it was going over 100 miles an hour. Now it's a kid, so I don't know how good of a judge he is at how fast the car was going. But these things are zipping around the forest, and they start chasing these kids. Now I see from my notes the other night, I made a little note in the side of my research that says possibly where Tesla stole their technology from.
From the gnomes? Are you making this up?
I was deep in a rabbit hole, in a gnome hole on this, so who knows?
Gino was deep in a gnome hole.
No.
So they were being chased by these gnomes, and the kids start booking it back to the gates. So as they get close to the gates, the other kids that ran away earlier, the ones that were too afraid to jump the fence, they see them being chased by the gnomes. So now they see the gnomes again, chasing these kids out of the park. So they, so they're getting towards the entrance of the park, and they realize that the gnomes won't go out of the park where the lights are. So they assume that these guys only come out at night, and again that they're limited to the area that they're able to go to. So so these kids get home. They tell their parents, who of course their parents don't believe them. One of the kids even seen them once before this, the summer before, and his parents didn't believe him then either. Now we're at a second sighting. Maybe we should start believing these kids. So however, they went to school the next day, and of course, like the game of telephone, the gnome news spread across all the school kids. Once the headmaster got wind of it, he decided he was going to get to the bottom of it. The headmaster had like a little bit of a Columbo in him. Let's see here. There you go. This guy right here. So he's going to interview these kids, and he's smart enough to record it and document the whole thing. So let's see, slide 10. Yeah. So he takes these kids and he separates them, and he decides to get each of their stories straight. He's ready. He's going to play good cop, bad cop. He's not giving these kids any chocolate milk or snacks. He's going to get to the truth. So he interviewed these kids, and he couldn't break them. They all pretty much told the same story. They had slight discrepancies. One of them thought
Bitches get stitches.
One of them thought that they were all white beards, while another one saw some with black beards. But there's 60 of these guys. So, these kids are trying to focus while they're being chased around by little guys in cars. So, maybe this guy saw this guy and this guy saw this guy. You never know which one is which, So it got a lot of media coverage, a lot of press, multiple articles were written about it, and even a few books came out about it. And luckily, I was able to actually obtain the transcripts. Let's see if I can put this in. So here we go. So I'm not going to read exactly through the transcripts with you guys, but they are available online. I'm going to go over just one that I thought was a good one.
Don't tell me you have an affiliate link and what you get 10%.
Oh,
If you want to read the transcripts, make sure you buy some Java 51 from cavemancoffeeco.com and use the promo code.
There it is. There it is.
So which of you guys has the best English accent? Can one of you guys read this first paragraph for me?
Victoria can.
English accent? Come on.
go for it, AJ.
I can't even see.
I can't even see the letters.
So when I'll do it for you.
Wait, you're going to do the British accent?
No, I need you to do the accent.
Please do that.
Just do an English accent for the first sentence.
Please.
Please.
I don't even know how to begin. When we went to Wallington Park, we was messing about. We was just looking around the school at first, and when we came back, it was 8:30. And when we were coming back, P.O. fell over and said, "Look up at those things in the woods." That was my best.
Can we get it?
accent.
Can we get a big holla holla for Gino's English accent there in the chat? Love to see it. Amazing. British Gino, spot on. Spot on. I felt like I was transported. I was transported.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pee my pants.
So in these transcripts, you find out a few other details, like the cars were red and white. Most of them, they thought. Some of the kids thought they were more colorful. They disagreed exactly on whether the pants were just yellow patches or if the whole pants was yellow, things like that. But for the most part, they were pretty consistent with their story. One thing they all agreed on is the kid
Jessica giving you a good on you, Gino. Pip pip.
They all agreed that Patrick fell face first into the mud and was covered head to toe in mud. So this was a story that was kind of buried for a long time. But luckily in 2017, paranormal investigator Simon Young released the transcripts. He had the transcripts saying that they came from an unimpeachable source. Why should we trust him? Well, he has connections with FIS, the Fairy Investigation Society. So he created the transcript from the original tapes made by that interviewing Headmaster Columbo there. So let's see here. Going back to the stream here. And of course, the most important slide. So that's the story of Wallerton Park Gnomes. Thanks, Jen, for telling me the story, of course. And if you like this story, please go to cavemancoffeeco.com and use the promo code YFiles and get yourself some Java 51.
Where's Gino? Oh shit, where he go?
I love that story.
That was a good story.
They just in the little
You know,
red
story
and white
hour.
cars driving around chasing these kids with their
I mean,
Cars.
Corey's like, not the FIS.
But the interesting thing is they have vehicles with no propulsion system that are soundless, just like all the UAPs we see. And,
It's gnomes. It's not alien.
no.
interdimensional gnomes are part of
went too
the
far.
UAP phenomenon. I mean, they do say that these crafts are smaller than usual people size. So, a little bit from this story, a little bit from that story, it starts coming together. These are kids, they thought they were gnomes, but maybe they were seeing something else.
All right. Well, this story hour will be on Backstage probably tomorrow. If you want to gather the family around for like a good old fashioned like British tale.
I loved it.
So good.
Renee is just grateful that there was no gnome erotica in this one. And by the way, that erotica story hour got demonetized on the Backstage channel.
What?
It's too sexy. Too sexy.
Oh,
I mean, the puns. Gnome on the range.
I love it so much.
Gnome's gonna gnome.